Yo, do you print for other people and are you having a hard time figuring out your pricing? Let me try to help you out. Setting everybody, boy Big Brando, and today we're gonna talk all about pricing. And more specifically, this is just for the people that print for other people. Majority of the people that watch my channel operate as print shops, meaning you guys are printing from home and you're printing for other people and you're having a hard time figuring out your pricing, especially when it comes to transfers. A lot of people are like, well, what do you mean you have to charge for the material costs and transfers cost this much and there's this many minimum? How do I figure all this out? I just want to share with you what I do for my pricing just so you get a better understanding of how it works. Number one, figure out your labor costs. What does your labor cost to you? Meaning, what do you value your time at? That part I can't help you with because I don't know your experience level. I don't know what you're sacrificing. I don't know how much time you invested into learning your craft. I don't know any of that. So I can't tell you what your labor is worth. I can't tell you what to charge for your labor because that's a personal thing to you. For myself, I know what my labor's worth. I know what I can be doing for an hour out of my day to make X amount of dollars. So I need to make sure that I'm gonna get paid that with any job that I take on. It's just like your regular employer. Your employer says, hey, your time to me is worth $20 an hour. That's what I'm gonna pay you. And it's up to you to say, yeah, I wanna take that job, or no, I feel my time is worth more than $20 an hour. That's a baseline way of thinking about this, is what does your day job pay you hourly? Because you know, if you weren't making t-shirts, that's what you'd be making hourly. That's your employer placing a value on your time. You as the business owner need to place a certain dollar amount value on your time. If you feel you're worth $500 an hour, then charge $500 an hour. I can't tell you what your time is worth, but what I can tell you is figure that out now, because that's your profit. That's what it's going to take for you to get that job done. This is what's going to help you further along your business. So understand your value. What do you want to get paid hourly? What is your time worth to you? Don't worry about what everybody else charges. Everybody else has no business within your business. Don't base your pricing off of, oh, this person charges this, I need to charge this much too. No, you need to base your pricing off of your own personal experience and your personal life. Think about it. If you weren't doing shirts, what would you be doing? If your day job means you work at the movie theater and you get $10 an hour, your employer is basing your time working in the theater at $10 an hour. So are you worth more than that or are you worth less than that? And you might be thinking, oh man, well, I don't like working at the theater, but I enjoy making t-shirts. So you have to figure out what is worth it to you. That's not something anybody on YouTube can tell you this is what you should be charging for labor, because if they are telling you that and they don't know you personally, that person's placing a dollar amount on your life without even knowing anything about you. And if that's not BS to you, then that's crazy to me. If you're gonna go based off of what somebody on YouTube is saying you should be charging this much for your labor and they don't know shit about you, that's like walking into a job and start working and then figuring out what you're going to get paid later. It's basically like your employer saying, I don't know nothing about you, I feel your time is worth this. You wouldn't do that. You want to know how much you're going to get paid up front and if it's going to work for your personal benefit for your own life. So base your pricing off of that. If you're filling out that job application and it says, hey, we're going to pay you $16 an hour for this service or for this job, and you look at that $16, you're like, man, can I afford to live off of $16 an hour? If you can't afford that and you feel your time is worth more than that, you're not going to take that job. So why would your business be any different? Get paid for what you're worth. Place a value on your time so you can get paid what you're worth. Once again, I can't help with that. I don't know what you make. You can't base your pricing on my pricing because my value is different from your value. Your value is different from the next person's value. Figure out in your head what your time is worth. And if you struggle with this, one, it could be because you are not confident in your t-shirt making skills and you're second guessing yourself like, oh, I might be charging too much and blah, blah, blah. No, your time is your time. Whatever price you set to that time, stick to that. If that customer doesn't want to pay for your time, then that customer isn't for you. You got into this business to make money. You did not get into this business to bend to every customer and meet their needs. So now you figured out your labor costs. You figured out what your time is worth. This is what I need to do to make this amount of money. This is what my hourly rate is. You break down that hourly rate based on how fast you work. How many t-shirts can you get done in an hour? If the pressing instructions say 15 seconds per press, put that in. How long does it take you to load the shirt? How long does it take you to align that transfer? If it takes you about a minute, that means you're gonna be doing 60 shirts in an hour. Now, whatever your hourly rate is, break that down into 60, meaning per shirt. How much should you get paid per shirt to add up to your hourly rate? If you get what I'm saying. So let's say you wanted to get paid $60 an hour. That's what your hourly rate in your head is. You tack on $1 to every t-shirt that you do. You could do 60 shirts an hour. Bingo. Easy math right there. If you feel you should be getting paid $120 an hour, you tack on $2 of labor to every single t-shirt. Let's say you can only get 30 t-shirts done within that hour and you want to get paid $120 an hour, you tack on $4 to every single t-shirt to get paid what you're worth. This is how the pricing part breaks down for yourself. Material cost is going to be an easy call. Material cost is going to be basically the cost of the blank t-shirt, the shipping involved with that blank t-shirt if you're not picking it up, the material cost of your transfers. Basically how I do things is like this. I keep a little notebook like this. Shout out to the good people over at Ricoma. But I just write stuff like this. I'll write down transfer size of t-shirts, everything that I need, how much everything's gonna cost. I do this for everything. Hopefully you guys can see this. So let me see. So here's one right here. Hopefully this is in focus and you guys can see this and it's not blown out. But these are the shirts I need, right? Faded black shirt, faded gray shirt, stonewash black, faded white, faded white. This is the quantity, this is the size listing. I write it all down. And then I draw a little mock-up of what the transfer looks like. So I'm using Supacolor. I'm gonna write down 16.5 by 11.7. That's the size of their gang sheet. I know I'm gonna use wearable transfers for this. So I mock it up and say, all right, I could put the big back design here and then the front design here. I write down the dimensions. The back design was gonna be 11 by 11 and then the front was gonna be 3 by 10. So I know I could gang these up. They're gonna be in different colors. So then I write down how many of each I need. And then I base everything off of what the Supacolor site says. So if Supacolor says it's gonna cost X amount of dollars for 50 of these transfers and X amount for 75 of these transfers, I make sure the customer pays that in total. Same exact thing for like this right here. This customer right here is doing hoodies. We're doing black hoodies right here. They want white and green print. I write down the size listing. They want 24 small, 24 medium, 36 large, 36 extra large, 24 2X, 24 3X. That's 168 hoodies. I know that their design size is 5 by 11.5. I could fit 3 of those onto a gang sheet. All I have to order is 60 gang sheets. I don't have to order 168 transfers. I'm ganging up all of those designs on here. Once I get 60, I'm gonna get 180 transfers. Having a little extra is cool. There's nothing wrong with that. So then that way I know I'm gonna go to the Supacolor website, find out how many 60 of these gang sheets are gonna cost. I charge that to the customer. Same thing goes for, what's this one? So this one right here is for a fishing company I'm doing, and they have a smaller run, only 24 t-shirts. I could gang all that up on a DTF roll, like on a long one. So this one right here is, I think that's the 60-inch one is what I base this off of. Their logo is only 8 by 4. It's gonna be on the front center. I know how many I could gang up on this little gang roll here. So then there's a lot of extra space up here. This extra space means I could throw my own designs that have nothing to do with this fishing design and get a free ride of my own transfers onto this gang roll because I'm already ordering this size roll. Customers already paying for this whole sheet. There's dead space up here. I'm throwing my own stuff, or I could throw in another job or whatever it is. I write everything down in books like this because it helps me visually see, all right, this is what I need to do. I need to order these blanks. I need to order these transfers. I take it to the whiteboard in my shop, and then I make a bigger version of this. So then I know what I ordered, what has came in, what hasn't came in yet. And for me, this keeps me accountable and keeps me on top of everything I'm doing. This book right here is basically that. This is just what I do is I write the stuff down so that way when I'm quoting out customers, everything is written down and done for me right here. I can email the customer and say, all right, it's gonna cost this much for the blanks. It's gonna cost this much for the transfers. It's gonna cost this much for labor. Here is the deadline. I need to order this stuff on this day. I need to get it done here. And I have this many days to complete the order and get it to the customer. Everything is written down. Everything makes my life easier when I do it this way. I know there's apps and there's other shit that you can put onto your computer and help you do this. I'm old school, I write the stuff down. Anytime I'm giving a quote to a customer, it's going through the same exact process. What's the size of your design? What color garments do you want to use? These are the blank t-shirts and hoodies that I use. This is what I have to offer. If they come and say, well, I want this certain blank or something like that, most of the time I try to talk them out of it because I like working with the companies that I use because I'm comfortable with them, but also because I know I can get my hands on any of these blanks at any time. Whenever I use a different company that I'm not familiar with and I don't often use, if I mess up on that order, I need to be able to replace those t-shirts in a timely manner. So that's why I choose to use the companies I use, and I tell my customers these are the wholesalers that I use. Most of the time they don't care. Sometimes if they have a certain blank in mind, I'll find something similar out of the companies that I use, and I'm say, all right, you like this blank, this is a similar blank made by this company, they're very comparable, here's the price difference, whatever it is. So your material cost is going to be the same across the board because we all buy blanks for the same price. If we're buying wholesale, we all buy transfers from the same places. It all depends how you use all of these tools for yourself. Like I said, whenever I'm ordering any type of transfer for a client, I'm trying to maximize the space on that transfer. I'm trying to load up as many as possible. One, to keep my costs down, but then also two, if my transfer or my design, like a personal design of mine, can catch a free ride on a transfer, customer's already paying for that transfer, I'm throwing mine on there. They don't know about it. They don't have to know about it. All they care about is their t-shirts being done. They don't know what else is on that transfer. And now I got 50 or 60 free transfers because the customer already paid for that gang sheet in whole. And then I said, boom, easy call. I got their job out. They don't care what else was on that transfer. They don't need to know about it. And even if they did know about it, it wouldn't bother them because all they're worried about is their own t-shirts. If I have two different jobs going on and they're ordering the same amount of transfers and the space on the gang sheet or the gang roll allows me to put other stuff on there, I could put two jobs on the same sheet and charge both of them what it would cost in total, even though they're getting printed on the same sheet. Like I said, the customer doesn't have to know how the sausage is made. They don't care. In your math, you just have to break down, this is what the transfer is going to cost. This is what it would cost per piece. So each t-shirt comes out to $4 for the blank, $4 for the printing, $4 for the labor, which is $12 a shirt, or whatever your pricing breaks down to. That's all it is. And then I send that off to the customer, said, here's the quote, X amount of dollars for the print, X amount of dollars for the blank, done deal. And when I say print, I'm talking labor and transfer costs matched into one. So your labor per piece, the transfer cost per piece in one, and I just call that print. So I say blank costs this much, print costs this much. This is how I break things down. I know my labor, I know what my transfers cost, I know what my blank t-shirts cost. And then to the customer, I break it down per piece. You're gonna get 24 t-shirts done or 100 t-shirts done. Each t-shirt is gonna cost you X amount of dollars for the blank and X amount of dollars for the print. And remember, print and labor are together. I know how many shirts I could get done in an hour. I know what I need to get paid an hour. So I break my hourly cost into my quote. Whenever somebody asks me for a quote on a job, that's what I'm doing. So remember, figure out what your labor is worth to you. What do you value your time at? Do not look to me or to the next person to figure out what they're charging for their shirts, because I value my time differently than you value your time. Quicker you understand that, the better. I don't care about none of those pricing calculators that people put out. I don't care about none of that stuff. All I care about for me personally in my business is getting paid what I'm worth and not letting somebody else place a value on my life and my time. Only I know what I'm worth. The customer doesn't know. The next person on YouTube doesn't know. Nobody knows what my time is worth but me. And then maximize these gang sheets. Like I said, I use Supacolor. 1, for their durability and quality. 2, because of turnaround time. 3, because they're local to me and I could pick them up. I could place an order today and those transfers will be in my hand within a day or two. Easy call for myself. Same thing goes with the blank companies that I use. I choose to use local companies to me because I could get the stuff in my hand faster than any other company out there. So I use Shockaware, I use AS Color, I use Smart Blank Hoodies. All of these companies are within driving distance to me where I can place the order, pick the stuff up, and get to work right away. All right, hopefully this video helped some people out. Hopefully it wasn't too confusing. And if you have any questions about any of this stuff, please leave it in the comments for me. Remember, when you're printing as a print shop, like you're printing for others, that pricing is always going to be different than regular retail pricing, meaning you're running your own brand or you're selling your own t-shirts on Etsy or something like that. That's retail pricing. What we're talking about is production pricing. You printing for other people, printing in bulk, printing for people. If you're just printing one t-shirt, that's not printing in bulk. That's doing a custom shirt. That has different pricing attached to it too, because that's just one shirt. I'm talking about people that print for others, mass producing, printing in bulk, doing large orders. This is how I price out whenever I'm printing for somebody else. When I'm printing for myself and I'm selling stuff in my retail store, that pricing is retail priced. Those are two different ways of pricing garments. Retail pricing and production pricing are two separate prices. Understanding that is going to be a big deal for you too, because a lot of people are like, oh man, I want to sell t-shirts for $40 retail. So now somebody comes to them and is like, hey, can you do 36 t-shirts for me? Like, yeah, it's going to be $40 a t-shirt. No, that's the retail price. That's what your customer's probably going to sell that t-shirt for. You're doing production pricing. That's probably why you're not getting a lot of work, is because you're mixing up retail and production pricing. So understanding the two, hopefully you guys get it. If you guys don't get that, leave it in the comments for me. Maybe I'll make a video about that in the future. But this video is about people who print in production, people who are printing for other people, business to business, people that are printing for family reunions, car clubs, other businesses, other organizations and stuff like that. It's just printing in mass for other people. This is how I price those types of jobs out. All right, if you guys got questions, leave it in the comments. Follow me on Instagram if you wanted to, Big Brando TV. Catch you guys on the next one, man. Yeah.